Hello people. I wanted to cover this point of rejection somehow better than the way that I did it before. I have a previous video on this which can be found in the cards above. As for this video, I will explain what rejection means to the ego of a man, what it should mean, what it means to myself, and how we can still live our lives independent of these small instances which amount to rejection. I hope that this video will help you guys moving forward with your life, as the facts that I'm proposing here will be applicable both in the workplace and also in general terms within the dating scene. Rejection, it seems, is a part of life, not the most pleasant of parts, but a part that can be ignored just as much as everything else. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video. Rejection, for its most part, is seen as a natural part of life. It is one of the things one will go through at least once or multiple times throughout his life. For a regular person such as myself, rejection is a constant which one must come to terms with. Life is a series of rejections, and as my father told me, how you deal with those rejections is what defines you as a man. That is not to say that a man will not feel hurt, he will not feel pain, and anxiety from a rejection on something, but a man will define himself as how he bounces back from those rejections that he has to suffer through in his life. So let's explain this a little bit further. A rejection can come when you want to take part in something in which another person has complete control over the part you will play in that enterprise. So be it wanting to have a sexual relationship with a woman, a man, a job, a role in a play, it can be absolutely anything. Rejection is a regular part of the game. Recently I was watching a documentary of Charles Bukowski where his life was described as a series of rejections, and at a certain part in his life he was feeding himself with just one chocolate candy a day. However, that man never quit, because his ultimate occupation was to be a writer and he wanted to be recognized. I'm sure these stories are very common, however it speaks to something deeper. Bukowski heard it again and again that you're not good enough, and he changed, tried and tried again until he became accepted and is one of the best celebrated authors of the 20th century, and one of the ones I can easily read and relate to. Rejection, as it's going to be described in this video, speaks directly to the rejection one man may suffer at the hands of a woman. The rejection itself, as an act, is something that is easily rationalized. She simply doesn't like you. But that has an effect on yourself. The rejection, as the one that comes directly from a female, reflects on you. It points to your shortcomings that you knew about, and it hurts. It speaks to you as a person and it says that you're not good enough. So it hurts. There has been an evolutionary argument that describes this effect as to why rejection hurts, because that would have ridiculed you in the group of people that you were living with. But as evolution goes, I don't think the rejection ever came directly from a female, as she may have had no say in the matter, but rather from another man's family or another man who would have sold you, in inverted commas of course, that woman. Understandably then, that's why rejection hurts. It speaks to you as if you're not good enough as a man, not in the world of women, but in the world of men. A rejection coming from a woman in today's society hurts the man as much as his entire circle thinking of him as less of a man. Rationally speaking, a woman's ability to destroy a man's ego by rejecting his sexual advances would have never evolved in primal society, as they would not have had so much of a say into the matter. Women were chosen as power and status always spoke in the world of men. Extrapolating from that, the rejection from a female would hurt as much as the rejection from the entire gang of men. It would floor you and urge you to work harder. However, in today's day and age, what does rejection mean? The emotions that men experience can perhaps be rationalized in multiple ways. One going the evolutionary psychology couch theory that I just came up with, the psychological theory where a man feels emasculated by a woman's rejection, but it also needs to be viewed by the realistic and logical eye of unobserved reality. What does it mean realistically for a man if he is to be rejected? In a social setting, a public rejection from the part of a female lowers the value of a man in that social occasion. As such, his chances of succeeding are minuscule following such a rejection. It is understandable that such a rejection would hurt, especially if a man is invested in social approval or in getting with that female or with other females in that night. And this is the reality for a blue pill man. This is the reality in actual fact for any man that may go out for a social gathering and is planning to get a girl to come back home with him. A rejection drops your social proof at the time and it may hurt a little bit. However, it's funny how social approval makes it a lot less likely that you will get rejected. But the clubs and the bars, where such a thing is an endemic, creates an environment in which the power dynamic is one which is mainly controlled by the females and the very few people that come with social approval in such places, such as VIPs. However, this is not the topic of this video. Social proof will be the topic of a next video. I want to continue talking about rejection at large. In today's society, a woman is in control. Every interaction with a female is an interaction which the female initiates. She initiates it by wearing her revealing clothing and makeup, becoming eye candy for any man, and closes that interaction by saying yes or no in the approaching of any man towards her sphere. PUAs will have you believe that men are in control. They are, of course, wrong. A man is only in control of his own actions. However, as to how that engagement with someone will result is only in control by that woman. That is an irrefutable argument. Therefore, understanding this strange power dynamic, which is unlike any other power dynamics that have existed in societies that have gone and passed, the man must learn to adjust his expectations. Very recently, I was seeing a girl who I met through a dating app called Tinder. I'm sure that the youngest guys will know what I'm talking about, but for those that don't, this app is where a man swipes left for no, I'm not going to sleep with that woman, and yes, I would sleep with that woman. The same is of course the situation for women. Without going into the psychological underpinnings of this app, it suffices to say that men far outnumber women on this dating app. So with this woman, I wanted to see how such a dating app would be used by women in general. I mean, all of us have an almost artificial rating system that we assign numbers to women. It is a system understood by most men in general. A woman of a 7+ is a woman that most men will gladly sleep with. There are plenty of these women around, not too many, but there are plenty of them. However, what is almost plentiful is the attention that such women might receive from men in general. In this world of Tinder, women will know nothing of your social value or proof other than that being exuded by the clothes that you're wearing in the pictures, I'm presuming. But in this world, women would choose men according to their looks. Therefore, I tried with this female to see how the Tinder application is for women. This female, I would have rated her about a 7.5 to an 8. She was alright, good, fit, she had a nice body, she was a ballerina, and averagely insane as well. But that is not normally advertised on these applications. As such, I told the girl to show me how the app worked, and I asked her to be honest and choose the men that she would like to be with and she would like to fuck. As she opened the app, I realized the hundreds upon hundreds of matches that she already had, and every time she swiped right, she would get a match. I don't remember a single occasion at which this female did not match with the man she swiped right for. This tells you that women in today's society have a variety of suitors, at numbers which are ridiculously large, overloading the hypergamy of a female and making the expectations for that female highly unlikely to match with reality. What this also tells us is that in today's society, with the laws at play and the expectations of that hypergamy running wild, a man is never in control. Never listen to the PUA nonsense with regards to this. A man is in control of himself and himself alone, not destiny and not his final destination. As such, a man, any average man, is going to be rejected. He's going to be rejected left and right constantly. But did you pay attention to what I said? A man has absolute control over himself. Though I do not believe in free will, I don't at all. I believe we're all subjects to our actions which are already predetermined for us and predestined by our brains. However, I believe in knowledge from our past mistakes, and a man learns to be in control of how he responds to his past mistakes, to how he handled his past rejections. One may call that as developing thick skin, shaking things off and moving on. This gets increasingly easier as you age, but what also helps in this process is the one and most invaluable lesson that MGTOW has to offer people. It might have been beneficial for a person before to get his validation from outside sources. However, in the present time, such an affliction is a thing of the past and a relic of our biology. In this world of disarray, billions of people, friends who are interchangeable and quite varied in their appreciation of you, who better to cast judgment on yourself other than yourself? Validation by anyone other than you, in a world where a woman has complete control of the interactions and you hold control over your actions alone, is insane. Validation in a world where men, even friends, compete for status and resources all the time is again insane. Few true friendships exist, and those should be cherished. Think of it like this. At present time, for any woman's affection, a man is competing not just with the men in her proximity, but absolutely every fucking man that has matched with her on a dating app, who has approached her in the real world, or at university, on Facebook, at work, and everywhere that she has ever been. At any point in time, a man who gets rejected because the woman is said to have better options. Are you to assume that there are no men who are better looking, with more wealth, with more status, in better situations than yourself? Despite the fact that I'm an egomaniacal bastard, and Stardust says as much, I myself see the reason in this argument. Therefore, the occasional rejection is inevitable. However, when I look at myself in the mirror, in the midst of the greasy hair, the beard that is running wild nowadays, and the stained t-shirt, I like what I see, and that's what it comes down to. A man may only deal with a rejection when he is at peace with himself, when he is not hoping to jump over hoops, try to be more, or look more, or appear more than what he feels like he has to. That man simply is. He exists and knows the direction in his path. The direction is irrelevant as to which direction that is. I advertise for freedom, but a man who can cast judgment, who is happy with his insufficiencies, with his deficiencies, and attempts to change what he doesn't like and sees himself as a project that continuously is taking shape and form, doesn't give two shits about the rejection of a random female. He understands the game is rigged in female favor. Therefore, he learns to move on and continue with the ultimate project at hand, cultivating the one man that matters, himself.